a good morning too, and welcome to episode whatever this is of the UNCLELOU show live. I think it's 35 or 36. I think. Anyway, good morning to everyone watching. Uncle Flu, Bender, Dan Mullet, Squid Tard, 19 Savage. Good morning, sir. Slim Mosley, #1 Notre Dame fan. Pigskin Pete, Master of Dreams, Noah Lowe, Volunteer Roadshow. Good morning, Uncle Flu. Jeez. Yep. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Tried to catch everybody in the comment section with a good morning. Yeah. How about we talk some sports today? Try something a little different here on the UNCLELOU show. But yeah, we're going to get started here in just a second. But I'm going to play this first, mainly just because I want to. And there's nothing I can't do. But here is about 2.5 minutes of a new Tool song. A new Tool song on their album that's coming out at some point in the future. This thing's been coming soon since about 2011, but I think it's coming out the end of this year or beginning of next year would be my bet. But here's 2.5 or 3 minutes of just an instrumental version of one of their new songs with some official Tool visuals to go along with it, and then we'll start the show. All right, we're back. Good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Thanks for watching. This is Uncle Lou live. We do this every Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We do it for an hour. It's a call-in show. We'll open the phone lines here in a second. Of course, it's Big Ten week here on LouTube, so if you've got any questions, comments, opinions, theories, trash talk, whatever, about the Big Ten, this would be a good week to call in and let everybody know about it. Of course, if you do call in and you're able to get through, you can talk about whatever you want. You don't have to talk about the Big Ten just because it's Big Ten week. So whatever you want to talk about is fine with me. However, when you call in, though, you are going to be required to tell me who you think is winning the Big Ten this year. I'm just trying to get an idea in general of who people are leaning towards for winning the Big Ten. I'm sure Ohio State would be considered a favorite, I guess. That's not necessarily going to be my pick when I make my predictions over the summer, but that's probably going to be the majority of people's picks. But anyway, when you call in right off the bat, even if you don't want to talk about the Big Ten, give me your pick to win the Big Ten this year, and then we can go on and talk about whatever it is that you want to go ahead and talk about. The number, if you want to be on the show, is 706-510-6817. If you guys remember Lance, the Florida fan from last week, called into the show. He does one of these type of shows too, but it's not broadcast live. He just sort of calls people and records it and then uploads it or whatever. I called his number, his show, whatever, yesterday and talked with him for about 30 minutes. He split it up into 2 different videos. So if you guys haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. The name of his channel, I think, is Lance Cooper. But if you just do a search for Lance and Jasper, that's where he lives, Jasper, Tennessee. You'll find him, Lance and Jasper, or Lance Cooper, or Lance Jasper, Florida fan. Anyway, you'll find him. Check those videos out. Subscribe to him if you're not already. He seems like an all right guy to me. Yesterday when I called him, it was about 15 minutes of just like straight football talk and then 10 or 15 minutes of trash talk. So make sure you guys check that out. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I picked Penn State.
Penn State. You know what? I was reading an article yesterday. The name of it was something like, here's why Penn State will win the Big Ten in 2018, and they had some pretty good points. I mean, of course, everybody knows they lose Saquon Barkley, all-world running back for them. So I think they're kind of flying under the radar this year for that reason. But they're still going to be a really good team. So, yeah, that's a pretty good pick there. But what's on your mind today, sir?
I want to know who you think will win the Big Ten.
I do my official predictions the last 2 weeks of July and the first 2 weeks of August, so anything I say before that doesn't count. But right now, I'm leaning towards Wisconsin. The only thing that's backing me off of Wisconsin a little bit is they have a tough schedule this year. Last year, they avoided some of the better teams in the Big Ten during the regular season, and this year they play some of the better teams in the Big Ten. So I think their schedule is harder this year, but they returned like 18 starters from last year. They have who I think is the best or maybe the second best running back in America, that Jonathan Williams, I think his name is, or Jonathan. Well, I can't ever remember if his last name is Taylor or Williams, but anyway, he was a freshman last year, had like 2,200 yards. The guy's just an absolute beast. You know Wisconsin's going to have 5 NFL offensive linemen all weighing about 330 pounds apiece. So I'm leaning towards them.
Who do you think's going to win the Warriors game tonight?
I think Cleveland wins tonight. It's in Cleveland. I picked the Warriors to win in 6. It's looking like it might be 4 or 5 now, though. But I just feel like Cleveland's going to at least get 1 win at home. So I'm going to pick Cleveland to go ahead and get the win tonight.
This is not Team Savage, by the way.
This is what?
Not Team Savage.
You're not Team Savage? That's fine.
I was just telling you.
What team are you?
I'm a Texas Longhorn and Penn State fan.
Okay, now I'm high on the Texas Longhorns this year too. I made a video about this a couple of weeks ago when I had Big 12 week here on LouTube. But I mean, I love Tom Herman. Kind of disappointing last year. I mean, losing to Maryland, no excuse for that. But Texas needs to get 10 wins this year, and I don't know. I think they can do it. I'm kind of high on Texas. So
I got them in the Big 12. Playoffs.
Yeah, if they can get. I mean, obviously, I think it'll come down to I think the three best teams in the Big 12 this year are going to end up being Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Texas. So they all play each other during the regular season. Then, of course, there'll be a rematch in the Big 12 championship game. I don't know. I'm not convinced anybody can get through the Big 12 this year with less than 2 losses. So I think it's going to be tough for a Big 12 team to make the playoff this year. But we'll see. A team like Texas or Oklahoma definitely could do it if they get on a run for sure. But yeah, so thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a good call. I think that's the first time we've heard from a Texas fan, which is great. I know Texas has a ton of fans out there. I mean, they're a blue blood university, one of the most popular universities worldwide, like merchandise sales and things like that. I know they've been kind of down the last 5 or 10 years, really, especially compared to what they're used to, their standards there or whatever. But I'm kind of surprised I don't run across more Texas fans. I'm sure if they start out 5-0 or 6-0, I'm sure a bunch of them will come out of the woodwork though. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yo, Lou. Mark Fox. What's up, man?
You tell me, man. Today? You tell me. You got to pick the Big Ten, and then you can go on about whatever you want.
Well, that's probably the toughest conference for me to pick because right now I think Wisconsin. I think this is finally their year. I'm not really in Ohio State as much. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback, and I don't know what else they really have right now. So I would probably say Wisconsin. Michigan, I don't think will do anything. We know what they'll do. They'll be like 9-0. Then they'll play Ohio State, Michigan State, and they'll lose both those games. I don't think Penn State's going to be that good. Lost too much, so I'm just going to say Wisconsin because they got the most starters returning, and I like that running back they got.
Yeah, I like that pick. So, but anyway, what's on your mind today?
Man, what is on my mind? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really came in to say my dude, this is bad right now, Lou. But yeah, yesterday. Sorry, my phone just cut out. I don't know what happened. I wasn't ignoring your conversation.
No, that's okay. I don't ever get mad when it disconnects because half the time it's on my end anyway. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but
don't worry about it.
So you got am I one of the only people? I think Cleveland's going to win the series. I don't know why.
Man, come on. I can see thinking that a week ago, but how can you? I don't understand thinking that now. They're down 2-0, man. I don't know. Got blown out in the last game.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's scoring 50 points a game and they can't win. I don't know what else Cleveland can do.
Yeah, but all right. I'll talk about Georgia football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I still think we're going to win the SEC, no problem, honestly. I don't see a team at all in the East. South Carolina is probably, in my opinion, the only team that's even remotely going to be competitive in the East. I don't buy Florida. They'll barely make a bowl game, in my opinion. And this may make you mad, but I think Tennessee may surprise people this year. I don't think they're going to win 8 games. I think they can get to a bowl game and maybe beat a big team. I mean,
well, do you think? When you say beat a big team, does Florida count?
Yeah, they could beat maybe a South Carolina. They could upset something like that.
You don't see when I think of to me Tennessee plays three elite or really, really good teams, Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. I can't see.
Yeah, they're not beating any of those.
Okay, that's what when you said beating somebody, I needed to clarify if you thought maybe they were going to pull the upset on one of those three, or if you're talking more along the lines of a Florida or South Carolina. Okay, I got you. Hey, isn't it gonna be funny? Whoever Tennessee beats first, that team's never going to hear the end of it, are they? Whether it doesn't matter, it could be Florida, it could be whoever. I mean, I think they're going to lose to Florida, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, and South Carolina. I think they're starting 0-5 in the SEC, and then their last 3 games are Kentucky, South Carolina. Kentucky, Vandy, and Kentucky, Vandy, and who am I forgetting? Missouri. I could see them beating 1, 2, or 3 of those teams. But what if they beat Florida, though? It's in Knoxville now. What if they beat Florida, man?
That would be...
Oh, my God.
It could happen. I mean...
You won't be able to shut me up. Whoever loses to Tennessee first, it better just go ahead and delete every one of their social media accounts, because I'm going to find every single Florida fan on planet Earth that has a social media account, and I'm going to make sure they get an earful from Uncle Lou. That's going to be... Whoever it is, that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. I hate Tennessee. I just don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. If they are worse than they were last year, I mean, that's something. I mean, they were dreadful last year, but yeah, I could see six wins or so. What else was I gonna? Yeah, I could see that, and I don't think Florida's going to be all that good. I think they win 7, 8 games. I think their quarterback situation is bad right now.
Yeah, Lance, that Lance guy, that Florida fan, Lance or whatever, that called in last week, I called his show yesterday, and he said that Florida could easily win 9 or 10 games this year, and if they do, that'll be a down year.
That's far-fetched.
He said it would be a down year still. He said they could go 9-3 or 10-2, and it would be a down year. That's how talented and good they are, and that's how good Dan Mullen is. And he thinks Emory Jones is starting.
They've had in 5 years.
I know. He thinks Emory Jones is starting and is the real deal and is going to light the SEC up because Dan Mullen is an elite play caller, he said.
They should start him. I mean,
think so, too.
This year, I mean, it's his first year. I mean, just let him get experience, really, if you're Florida.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Felipe Franks is absolute garbage. He is terrible.
I agree, 100%.
I just think, yeah, they should probably play Emory Jones. I just don't. Florida's years away, in my opinion, because they got none of Muschamps players are there anymore. That was the only reason McElwain was even successful at Florida.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the 2 years Florida won the East.
Successful.
Yeah, you look at the 2 years McElwain won the East, his offense was scoring 23 points a game. They won the East because of Muschamp's defensive players. Those guys are gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Florida's just not there yet. They're not going to be competing in the East with Georgia. They just don't stack up right. And every other team is just in the East is just forgettable. Vanderbilt's going to be Vanderbilt. Kentucky's going to get ready for basketball season. And Missouri, nobody cares. Missouri, I've had a little bit of feeling with Missouri because I think Drew Lock's probably the best overall quarterback in the SEC. And we got to play him on the road. That may be a little tricky, but I don't think it'll have any sort of effect on us. What do you think about Missouri?
I think pretty much the same thing I thought last year. I agree. Drew Lock is definitely the best passing quarterback in the SEC. He'll throw for 4,000 plus yards, and they're going to beat a team or two that they're not supposed to. Hopefully, it's not Georgia. Last year, of course, they ended up beating Tennessee and Florida. They started like 1-5 last year, but then won their last 6 games, made a bowl game at 6-6, and then lost to I think Texas in a bowl game.
Yeah.
I think they can probably win 1 or 2 more games than that this year. So 6-6 last year, maybe 7-5, possibly 8-4 this year.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about the West. I don't see a team competing with Alabama. Let's just hope Alabama isn't average enough to not win the West again. But I just don't. I mean, they got Auburn at home, which is going to be important. They've got there's just not a team I don't see. Auburn's probably the best bet. I hate these people that are saying LSU is going to surprise people. LSU will win 8 games at the max. Ed Orgeron I do not like him as a coach.
Me either. The only thing that would surprise me about LSU is if they found an offense and a quarterback. Now, they did get a transfer in from Ohio State, but I don't know how good.
I don't even know who their quarterback is.
Yeah, some transfer
from
a
team.
Yeah, I know.
Like that.
I know. And I'm with you on Orgeron. The guy's in way over his head.
Yeah, and then all the other teams are just scrubs. Texas A&M will be lucky to win 7 games. Ole Miss can't get to a bowl game. No one cares about them. Mississippi State and Auburn, to me, are the only teams that could possibly give Alabama a fight.
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me with Mississippi State is the coaching change. If they had Dan Mullen, I think they could be even more dangerous. But I don't know about that first-year coach.
I think it helps that they have a returning veteran starting quarter. Nick Fitzgerald. I'm assuming he's going to be back to 100%. I mean, breaking your leg is terrible. It's not. I'm not trying to compare it to jamming your finger or something, but most people can recover from a broken leg and get back to 100%. So he should be okay. I would assume.
Yeah, and I just think it's going to be Georgia, Alabama for the next 3 years or so. I mean, each team has a quarterback for the future. I think for Alabama, and good defenses, I mean, I just don't think there's teams in either divisions that can even sniff Georgia or Alabama. But Lou, I'm going to let you go. I got to go do some stuff because I'm very busy and important.
I like that.
Good morning.
All right, good morning. Thank you for the call, Mark Fox. Yeah, really going out on a limb there, picking Georgia from the East and Alabama from the West. I mean, those are going to be popular picks, and it's hard to argue that on either side. And I'm a Georgia homer, so forget what I say about the East. But you just look at the West. I agree with what he said. Auburn has to play at Alabama. They struggled on the road last year. Auburn's got no returning running backs. The offensive line is a question mark. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yes, sir. Good morning.
It's Catfish Volunteer Roadshow. How you doing, Lou?
Volunteer Roadshow, man. Where you been?
Just driving my life away, looking for a better way.
I hear you.
I ought to write a song about that. Hey, I want to get on here and set the record straight.
Well,
That's
first,
my Tennessee Vols.
Well, first you have to give your prediction for the Big Ten winner. Those were the rules, and they were clearly explained at the beginning of the show.
All right. Besides the SEC winning the Big Ten, I don't think it's going to be Penn State, but I really think, like the other caller said, I think Wisconsin has a chance. I don't follow it that much up there. We're all SEC down here, but I just think that Penn State's lost way too much, and I really think this is going to be Harbaugh's last year in Michigan. That's just got a gut feeling there.
I think he needs to do one of two things this year, in my opinion, or he's in real trouble. He either needs to win the division or beat Ohio State. If he doesn't do either one of those two things this year, then he's in some trouble there. In my opinion, I would agree with you.
Well, he started out with all these gimmicks. He was sleeping in tree houses with recruits and slumber parties trying to get that one kicker. I mean, good grief.
Yeah.
He's the Lyle of the Big Ten.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, we're not going 15-0, Lou. You know that. But I do think this. I really think that we're going to beat one or more than one team that everybody don't think we have a chance to beat. Now, I don't know who that's going to be.
Well, that's every. But see, that's every team though. So you got to be more specific. Like. Will you
we're
be
beating Georgia? We're not going to beat Alabama, but I think we have a chance with Auburn. I really do.
Well, I mean, that nothing would make me happier. That's for sure. I was talking with a couple of callers ago. Whoever Tennessee gets that first win against, better hide.
Oh yeah, you're gonna rag the hell out of them. Yeah.
I hope it's either Florida or Auburn. That would be perfect.
Than last year, and I think we're gonna win 7 games, 8 top. But I don't think, like the last caller said, we're not gonna be as bad as everybody says we are. We're going to a bowl game. It might be the Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie bowl, but it'll be a damn bowl. I promise you that.
Yeah, I think
I won't be there rooting my balls on.
I think the two. I mean, obviously that Florida game it's early in the season, so I mean we're gonna find out. I think that's week 3, so we're gonna find out that week. I think where you're at, sorta. I really feel like you really need to beat either Florida or South Carolina, because if you lose both, sandwiched in between those games, you got Alabama, Georgia, and Auburn. So I just, if you start 0-5 in the SEC, I mean, I don't know how much patience the natives are going to have with Jeremy Pruitt. Maybe you would know better than me, but and then if you lose to West Virginia week 1 on top of that, I mean, you could be looking at 2-6 start.
That West Virginia game, it worries me. They can sling the ball around.
It would worry me.
They've got that Gator quarterback.
It would worry me as a Georgia fan. I mean, Will Greer's going to be, Mayfield's gone from Oklahoma. What's his name's gone from Oklahoma State. Will Greer's the cream of the crop in the Big 12 this year, and I mean he can absolutely light it up. And West Virginia's got a couple of NFL receivers on their team too. I mean, if Tennessee's defense isn't ready to go, I mean, this would be a good year for Tennessee to start out with a high school team. Unfortunately, you don't. And I mean, West Virginia can put points on the board in a hurry if the defense ain't ready.
I just don't know who we're going to start at quarterback. I don't have any faith in Garantano, and this Keller Crisp. He sounds like he's a good quarterback, but there's just a lot of unknown at quarterback, and you have to have a damn good quarterback to win anything.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Florida game, we're doing a giveaway pretty soon. I'm going to be announcing it on my show where I'm going to be at the Florida game, and I'm going to have a chance to win tickets to go to the Florida game with me. So y'all check out my show on that. That's coming up.
Wow.
I believe it's the 22nd of September.
Yeah, if y'all aren't following Volunteer Roadshow on YouTube, he's easy to find. Just do a search for Volunteer Roadshow, and his channel will come up. He's a Tennessee fan, but you guys make sure you're subscribed to him.
Well, I appreciate it, Lou, and you have a good day, and I've got to go through this chicken house here and let them check me out. It's a 3-day blitz we're going through on the DOT here, so have a good one, buddy.
All right, appreciate the call. Take it easy. That's our buddy Catfish there, runs the Volunteer Roadshow channel. Most of you guys know who that is and are already subscribed to him, but if for some reason you're not, especially if you're a Tennessee fan, make sure you check it out. He doesn't make as many videos during the off season like I do, but once the season kicks up, he stays on top of things. Make sure and check him out. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, also in 2.
Good morning, Lou. It's Big C. How you doing?
Big C, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not much. I guess I need to give you my prediction for the Big Ten.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to.
Well, I like to play by the rules so I can break them later, but I'm going out on the big limb. I've talked to you about this before, but I'm just going to say Michigan. At some point, you got to let the beast out of the cage, and the odds are stacked against me, but I'm saying Michigan.
I hear you. I mean, I've been saying for a couple of months now, if Shea Patterson turns out to be as good up there as what most people think he can be, I mean, that's sort of been the missing link for Michigan the last couple of years. I mean, their defense is unbelievable, but they've just had absolutely zero production from the quarterback position. If Shea Patterson can get up there and get things together for him, Michigan can be a dangerous team. I mean, they don't need to score 40 points a game to win games. Michigan can win a lot of games 24-14 type of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. If they get 2 first downs, they could win with that defense.
Right.
It's sickening to watch how good that defense plays, and they play 75% of the game because the offense can't move the ball.
Yeah.
And maybe a lack of enthusiasm from them offensive players because they just almost look like they don't care. I need to go back and look, but I'm sure the defense almost outscored them and probably did in some games.
Yeah.
But that's
Anyway,
we'll find out come August, September.
Yeah. Well, what else is on your mind today?
Oh, just it's a nice day outside. I caught onto the show a little bit late, but I finally got to catch the Volunteer Roadshow. Great Tennessee fan. What all's going on? It's such a downtime right now. There's just not much happening.
I was talking about this. It was either, I think it was last week or the week before, somebody called in and said the same thing. It was like, there's just no news, nothing to talk about. I said, hey, when you're a fan of a college football team, no news is the best thing you can hope for this time of year, because if there is any news this time of year about your team, it's usually bad, like somebody getting arrested or somebody had a 4-wheeler accident or whatever the case. Georgia's had a history of some off-season arrests. Sony Michel broke his arm in a 4-wheeler accident a couple of summers ago. So Like every morning I get up and I check all the UGA blogs or whatever, and I'm just hoping there's no news at all.
Oh, absolutely. I hate that because he is such a Georgia fan, man. People will just post it on your Facebook page before you even wake up. They're like, hey, look what your boy's doing today.
Yep.
It's like, what? Well, but I don't know. I mean, there's, it's summer practice. They're practicing, getting ready. They're not trying to give out too many secrets. I watched some of the interviews with the coach. Yesterday it was one about, Kirby Smart doing some recruiting, and they were asking about the 2nd and 26th play, and he says, you got to move on. You can't let that play beat you twice.
Right.
So I'm more enthusiastic about, the culture changing at Georgia, being about winning, about getting the job done. And honestly, it's most certainly I wouldn't call it a rip-off, but it's definitely part of the process from Nick Saban.
I would call it a ripoff. I think Kirby has brought a lot of Alabama's culture, or quote unquote, the process over to UGA. Now, a lot of people have tried that. A lot of former Saban assistants have tried that. No one has been very successful with it yet. Kirby, probably the most successful so far of the Saban assistants. Of course, no assistants, still 0 wins. Assistants, ex-assistants against Saban, but Kirby's the only one to win a playoff game.
Yeah, well, man, did you imagine being in the playoffs in both games? You go into overtime.
No,
that's something else.
That took years off my life, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. I took a few off of mine. Oh, Tennessee. I guess I'm stupid, and I just realized this today, but Tennessee's on their 2nd Saban alumni, or whatever you want to call it. Because I think Dooley worked for him at
maybe.
So, I'm the last order.
Yeah.
And, well, like I said, there's not much going on. I really ain't got much for you, but I'm still trying to get that 5-caller position, so I'm checking in with you.
Yeah, I would say you're probably a favorite at this point. But anyway, Big C, I appreciate the call. We'll talk to you next time. Yeah, that was Big C checking in there. And I forgot about the 5-star caller thing, actually. So we need to give one away for the month of May, don't we? It's too late to do it now, but I'll figure out a way to do it here pretty soon. Maybe I'll announce it tomorrow night on the Thursday night show, or either that, or we'll have to wait till next Monday's show. I forgot all about that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Morning, Uncle Lou. This is your boy, Bender Rodriguez, calling.
What's up, Bender?
Okay, so before I get to what I want, I'm assuming that the same rules apply. I'm going to have to give my prediction for the Big 12.
You're going to, yeah, you have to.
Okay. Fortunately, I already had mine thought out. I believe that the championship will probably be, as usual, it will probably be Ohio State and Wisconsin. Ohio State will get so much hype from their fans, as usual. But then Urban Meyer will just do Urban Meyer things, and they'll just choke at the last minute. And Wisconsin will probably finally win it. What do you think?
Wouldn't that be something?
Urban Meyer choking again.
Yeah. Better go ahead and call the ambulance.
So I was curious, you be asking people what's going on with their lives. What's going on with Uncle Lou today?
What's going on with Uncle Lou today? Lou Jr. is at my parents' house for the night. He left earlier today. He's going to spend the night over there tonight and stay over there most of the day tomorrow. So he's gone. Luann is going to West Virginia tomorrow. She's actually leaving at like 2 in the morning tonight with the other set of grandparents, Mrs. Lou's parents. Mrs. Lou's parents are from West Virginia originally, where her dad is, and still have a bunch of family up there. So they go up there a couple of times a year, and since school's out, Luann's going to go with them. So other than that, it's just business as usual here at the Lewstead.
How was Luann's date?
Oh, she had a good time. She was so nervous, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was nervous, but I didn't think she would be nervous. But she was, she was excited and nervous. But they had a good time. The other kids' parents took them, of course, and but they sat at separate tables. So Luann and the boyfriend sat at one table, and the parents sat at like the table next to them or whatever. And they took a couple of pictures and sent to me and Mrs. Lou or whatever. And so they had a good time. And now we're trying to work something out now where he's gonna come over here one afternoon and go swimming or whatever. So yeah, so far so good.
So the boy's gonna come over and meet the parents.
Yeah, it was funny too because after they went out to eat the other night, of course the parents had to come drop Luann off here, and I heard them pull up, and the boy got out of the back seat of his parents' car, ran around to the other side of the car, opened Natalia's door, let Natalia out, and then walked her up to the to the doorstep. Now these are 10-year-olds, you know. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny.
Honestly, you were talking about that. I'm shocked Luann was able to get a boyfriend at this point. I'm like,
yeah,
you said they were like what, like first, second grade?
No, she's in 5th grade.
Okay, yeah, 5th grade.
Yeah, well, she just finished 5th grade, so she'll
already got a thing going.
Yeah, she'll be starting middle school
next year. They already got a thing going on.
Huh?
You first. Sorry.
I said she'll be starting middle school next year, so she just finished up 5th grade. She's had like a couple of quote-unquote boyfriends at school where, like, you know, she'll come home and she'll say like, oh, such and such's friend had his friend ask the other friend to ask my friend if I wanted to be his boyfriend, and I said yeah. But they don't ever do anything but hang out at recess or something, I guess. So this is the first like boyfriend that she's had that she's ever done anything with outside of school.
Yeah, it's funny, really. Like I'm watching your video, I'm like, my God, there are 5th graders already asking Lou's daughter out. Meanwhile, I'm here in 9th grade. I can't even get a text back.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. It was funny. I put a picture of them on Facebook, and Luann got mad as hell. Dad, I can't believe you put that on Facebook. I'm like, come on, when you're like 30 years old, I promise you'll be glad we have this picture to look back on, you know. So yeah, it was funny.
Did you put it up on Twitter? Because I most recently followed your Twitter last night.
I don't know if I put it on Twitter. I don't know. If I didn't, I'll post it on there this afternoon sometime after the show.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you here, Lou.
All right.
So I'll see you later.
Yeah, I appreciate the call.
I'm definitely looking forward to that review tomorrow night.
Okay. Oh, that's right. The urinating tree. Yeah. We'll have that. Tomorrow night. All right. Thanks for the call, Bender. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was Bender Rodriguez going ahead and checking in there and asking about Uncle Lou. Wanted to know how Uncle Lou's doing. It sure is nice to know people care about you and wonder about you and want to make sure you're doing okay. So yeah, that was nice of you, sir. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Uncle Lou? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great.
This is Master Dreams calling in.
What's up?
Hey, so I gotta pick who's gonna win the Big Ten.
That's right. You gotta give me a winner.
Well, you're gonna be shocked. You know what the person, the team I'm about to pick, and I got Illinois winning the Big Ten.
Man, come on, man. Shut that down, man. No. Man, come on.
No, because they had some good. When I went to, because I played football, so they had the camp this summer, so I went to it, and the coaches act like they knew what they were doing and stuff. And Illinois coaches and defensive coordinators and all that, was teaching us stuff and everything. So Illinois is gonna win it all, man.
All right. Well, I don't know if I can agree with you there, but I tell you what, I'll keep an eye on. I'll keep an extra close eye on them the first couple of weeks of the season.
They're trash.
Huh?
You want me to lose?
Yeah.
I'm just joking with you. They're trash. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're terrible, man. Come on.
Yeah. Favor everything, but I'm leaning on Wisconsin because they bring a lot back. I think Wisconsin's gonna win it all.
Yeah, they do bring a lot of starters back from a really good team last year, and I know that quarterback's not great. They sort of like Michigan. They just up and down play from the quarterback. The guy, he's not gonna. Here's my concern about Michigan, because let's just be real. If they fall behind in a game, it's over. You know what I mean? They're not that quarterback Michigan has. He's not throwing Wisconsin. Like if Wisconsin goes down 14 points in the first half of a game, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, true. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what I was saying is that how y'all keep saying that it's gonna be funny if Tennessee gets their first win off of somebody.
Yeah. Don't let it be you, man.
It's not going to be us.
Don't let it be you. I'm telling you, man.
It's not going to be us.
All right.
I'm not going to be able to live, with myself if Tennessee gets they win on us. Like, that would be bad.
This is a Florida fan, by the way, for those of you listening that don't know Master of Dreams. He's a Florida fan. But, so, yeah, man. Whoever, I mean, the only thing, I think y'all are better. And, obviously, Mullen is an experienced head coach. Pruitt is not. Florida has some advantages. It is in Knoxville. I mean, weird things happen in football. I would think Florida should win this game, but man, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I want Tennessee to just keep losing and losing, because to me that's just the funniest storyline in college football. But they're bound to win one eventually. You there? You there? I don't know what happened. He got disconnected some kind of way. Or maybe discombobulated. I don't know. I hope it wasn't me that accidentally did that. Hold on, let me restart that app. So I think somebody was trying to call just now. I'm restarting the thing in case it was the connection on my end that went out. But I mean, would it be funny if Tennessee went 0-8 in the SEC again? Of course it would. It would be hilarious, but that's probably not going to happen. So my focus now is on, okay, who's going to be that team, right? Who's going to be that team that gives Tennessee its first SEC win since November of 2016? It's going to be somebody. It's going to be somebody. You gotta think it's gonna happen at home probably. So Florida plays there, and Auburn plays there. I think they play Georgia in Athens, and I think they play Alabama in Tuscaloosa. No. I think they might play Alabama at home, but they're not winning that game. South Carolina, they play in Columbia. Probably not winning that one. I don't know. It would not surprise me at all to see Tennessee lose their. I know I said it a bunch of times. It would not surprise me at all to see Tennessee lose their first 5 SEC games: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, and South Carolina. So then you're looking at the last 3: Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. So I mean, I don't know. Anyway, 706-510-6817 if you want to go ahead and be on the show. More phone calls? Now would be a good time to call. I reset the thing. Hopefully it's working again now. Don't forget, when you call in, tell me who's going to win the Big Ten. Then we can talk about whatever it is that you feel like talking about. Don't forget the good people over at Lanier HVAC Services, too. If you're in the Atlanta or Athens area or anywhere in between, Gainesville, Georgia area, call the people at Lanier HVAC Services for all your residential HVAC needs. They're good enough and nice enough to support and sponsor the Uncle Lou show here on LouTube. So do me a favor. If you need some HVAC work done, let's return the favor and call the people over at Lanier HVAC Lanier HVAC Services. Tell them Uncle Lou said good morning. Their phone number is 678-943-1351. And let's see if we can get back to a phone call here. Maybe. Maybe not. Uh, 706-510-6817. Yep. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou, Pigskin Pete, man. How you doing?
What's up, Pigskin Pete? What's up today, man?
Yeah, I just had to call in. First of all, I wanted to give my opinion on the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then answer some people in the comment section from the past hour or so.
Okay.
All right, so who I think is going to win the Big Ten, and I don't know why nobody's mentioned this yet, but my pick is Penn State. Now, Michigan looks like it's probably the best team on paper to give Ohio State a run for their money. But what do we really have to go from recent history from Jim Harbaugh? Why does anybody believe that he's going to win it? I don't believe it until I see it. Sort of like with Will Muschamp at South Carolina. I'm not going to buy into the whole thing until I see some actual results. And Penn State has the best coach outside of Urban Meyer in the Big Ten. What James Franklin has done at Penn State is nothing short of absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
And he's gotten better every single year he's been there. So why would we think just because he lost Saquon Barkley that all of a sudden the team's just going to fall off the map? I mean, Saquon Barkley was not the end-all, be-all at that program. He was a great player, but he wasn't the reason that they had done as well as they've done.
Yeah, I feel like James Franklin kind of gets lost in the shuffle when people talk about the great coaches in college football. I don't know if people don't remember or what. This guy was winning 10 games a year at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt!
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about nothing short of remarkable for what he's done at Penn State. This guy was winning double-digit games at Vandy. He's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, he's a better coach than Jim Harbaugh. And you know what? I'd rather have James Franklin than Urban Meyer. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. I mean, I really would, at this point in time, rather have James Franklin than Jim Harbaugh coaching my team.
Yeah. Wow. I hear you. Well, what else is on your mind today?
As far as the comment section there, I see some South Carolina and Florida fans saying that South Carolina has a chance this year to win the East and beat Georgia. Now, people say, oh, well, are you just kissing up to Uncle Lou because he's a Georgia fan? No. I actually watch football games, and there's nothing that anybody can ever tell me that's going to tell me that South Carolina can win the East when they've only done it one time in their history and have never won the SEC. This is the same thing with Jim Harbaugh. Show me the proof that you can actually do it, and I might entertain, the ability for you to do that.
I completely agree. Now, here's the thing, and I had to tell a Florida fan this yesterday. At this particular point in time, the University of Georgia football program is above trying to get a win over any one team. Like, it's hard to go 12-0. Me and you have talked about this before. We could lose to, I don't think we'll lose to South Carolina either, but we could lose to South Carolina. We're still going to win the East. Like, South Carolina's not deep enough, talented enough, and doesn't have the coaching to run the gauntlet to be good enough week in and week out to win the SEC East this year. They're just not. Georgia's goal is not to beat South Carolina week 2 or to beat Florida in Jacksonville. Obviously, we want to beat them. We want to do those things. But those are goals that 8, 9, and 10 win teams have. I hope we can. That's a Tennessee goal, right? Oh, I hope we can beat, like the Tennessee guy that just called in. I hope we can beat one of the 3 tough teams we play and make a bowl game. Like I'm past that. Like, obviously, I think Georgia's going to beat South Carolina, but if we lose to South Carolina and finish the season 11-1, I'm not going to care.
Well, if you lose to South Carolina and finish the season 11-1, you're still going to win the East because South Carolina is going to lose more than one game in the SEC.
I agree.
I mean, you could lose that game. You could even possibly lose to LSU as long as you beat South Carolina. I mean, as long as you beat Tennessee and Florida. I'm betting that both Florida and South Carolina are going to lose more than 2 SEC games, and you'll still win the East with 2 losses. So,
Yeah.
I know that I hate South Carolina and I rag on them. The main thing is I just want to see some real, actual proof that they can back up what they think they're going to do before I'm going to start believing in it.
No, I'm with you. I mean, and I tell them this all the time. You've lost to Kentucky 4 years in a row. Get Clemson and Georgia out of your mind. Forget that. Concentrate on winning 3 or 4 SEC games in a row and not losing to Kentucky. You know, I mean, concentrate on that. The chances of South Carolina beating Georgia and Clemson are slim to none.
And the actual fact is that this year, this is probably South Carolina's best year. If they do want to win the East, to try to do it. With some luck, you know, they could maybe do it, you know, like a 10% chance. But coming next year, Florida's going to be better than they were. Florida talent and South Carolina talent isn't even anywhere close. And when Tennessee, even as bad as they've been over the past 10 years, I mean, what's their record against South Carolina the past 10 years? I bet Tennessee has a winning record over South Carolina the past 10 years, don't they?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. And they've been terrible. So that's my point. So they're the 3rd or 4th best team in the East every single year. 6th or 7th best team in the SEC every single year. Can't beat Clemson with a wet mop. But somehow, every year, this is our year, we're going to win the East. Bullshit.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, my hatred for them is well documented. I've been over the stats a million times. You know, they've got 1 conference title ever. That was the ACC in 1969. And in that same year, Georgia beat the ever-loving hell out. I mean, Georgia beat them, you know, like a rented mule that year. They won the ACC. They haven't won anything since then. They won the East 1 time, took the worst beating in the history of the SEC championship game to Auburn. You know, they're still bragging over a regular season win over Alabama in 2010. Why? I don't know, but they are. I mean, they're just they're a mediocre program. And what really pissed me off, and I know I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, what really pissed me off this year is I started out this year trying to be nice and complimentary of South Carolina, saying they could go 9-3, 10-2. Wouldn't surprise me. They're probably going to lose to Georgia and Clemson, but wouldn't surprise me if they went 9-3 or 10-2. And they got mad at me. And that's what pisses me off. You know, this is a perennial basement, you know, gutter team here. And I get on here and say they could go 9-3 or 10-2, and the Coots act like I slapped their mama or something. That's what pissed me off. So now, screw them. I'm back to just running them into the ground every chance I get now.
I hear you. All right, listen, I'll let you go get some more callers on it. Before I go, the last thing I want to say is that with any luck, Will Muschamp will be the next life coach for Alabama.
Woo! I couldn't agree more. Wouldn't that be a miracle and amazing both at the same time? Yeah, thanks for the call, Pete. Yeah, big Clemson fan there, Pigskin Pete. Another guy with a YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar with him, make sure you search him up. Just go to YouTube, type in Pigskin Pete, and you'll find him without a problem. Also in 2. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou too. Hold on, I hear you, but you're not on speakerphone. Hey, yeah, good morning there. Yeah.
What is going on, Lou?
You tell me.
I don't know it. No good luck lately on the scratch-offs. But, hey, listen, I want to talk about some Georgia regular season next year.
Okay.
Tell me the best chance
Listen,
for losses.
hold up before you get started here. There's a rule today. You have to pick a winner of the Big Ten first. Then you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. So tell us who's going to win the Big Ten. Purdue. Purdue. Okay, now on to whatever it was you wanted to talk about.
The Big Ten West is the weaker side of the Big Ten. I don't know if that's the legends or the leaders. But, hey, all they got to do is win the Big Ten West, upset somebody in the championship game, bim, bam, boom, Big Ten champ.
All right, stick to lottery tickets, not sports gambling. All right, so what's on your mind today, sir?
What's where do you see UGA slipping up at this year? Because reading the comment section, you got LSU fan down here. I think his name's David. I don't know. At any rate, I'm talking about the last few years, LSU, and not particularly last year, have been picked to go playoff, top 10. Guys, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy. Fournette, going to win the Heisman Trophy, going to lead us to the promised land. It never happened. They're unproductive, yet they think they're beating you guys at home this year. They think they stand a better chance than the Gamecocks. Second of all, what I want to talk about, everybody's talking about Florida. And the only reason Jim McElwain won at Florida was with Muschamp's talent.
I agree.
Now, Muschamp's in South Carolina, and he's done. Doesn't make any sense.
No. I mean, there's points on both sides of that argument there. I mean, you can't argue Muschamp recruited an elite defense at Florida, and that is the reason McElwain won the East twice. He also had a terrible offense at Florida and won 4 games, which is hard to do at the University of Florida. You know, he hasn't had a year that bad at South Carolina. In fact, I think he's improved both years that he's been there. What did he win? 7 games the first year? How many? What y'all finish last year? 9 and 4.
They were 9-4 last year, 6-7 in 2016.
Oh, that's right. You ended up losing the bowl game. Yeah. So, but still, he inherited a 3-win team. 3-win team when he got there, right? Doubles the wins the first year, and then adds 2 more last year, or 3 more last year to get to 9 wins. Heading in the right direction for sure. What are you guys? Bentley's got to throw less interceptions. You know. Prove me wrong.
Well, they've got to protect him better. They have to have better offensive line play. They've got some returners this year. The only thing that concerns me, we keep recruiting these skill guys. We keep recruiting guys on defense. I don't see a lot of hoopla about any offensive line recruit. Nobody's talking about a 4-star that we recruited on the offensive line, and it's just, you know, I feel like that's where the missing pieces are.
Right. I couldn't agree more. Georgia had a terrible offensive line Rick's last couple of years, and even Kirby's first year too. And it's hard to compensate. No matter how good you are on the outside, no matter how good your running backs are, no matter how good you can have a cover corner, that's great. If you're getting dominated at the line of scrimmage, it's hard to win big-time football games consistently.
Exactly. This is why Clemson won 56-7 in 2016. It was 34-10 last year. Bentley had no time to make decisions. He had no time to make decisions because they have an NFL defensive line. I'll go ahead and say it. It pains me to say it, but it's true. And no time to make decisions. So, you know, then there go the mistakes. Then there goes an interception, a 12-yard pick six return for a touchdown, and things just go downhill from there. So they have to get better on the line of scrimmage, especially offensively, if they're going to take that step to the next level, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think you guys have some good pieces in place. Will Muschamp's always going to have an above-average defense regardless of the skill of the players that he has. So as the talent level continues to increase on the defensive side of the ball, you know, that unit's going to get better and better and better and better. I think the question marks still are on the offensive side of the ball. Jake Bentley, I think, is a pretty good quarterback, but like you've mentioned, you need better protection for him, and he's got to cut down on the turnovers. You definitely need Deebo Samuel to stay healthy. He's the best wide receiver in the SEC, period, bar none. Nobody can cover that guy, not for a whole game. I mean, you might be able to limit him here and there with some double-team things and safeties over the top and stuff like that, but he's going to get his yards. He's going to get his touches if he's healthy. You need somebody opposite him take some pressure off. We'll see what y'all can do about that. I sure am glad y'all lost that tight end, though. Good God, that guy was a beast, man. He ate Georgia alive last year, especially in the first half. I'm glad he's gone.
He didn't have as productive of a season last year as I thought he would have, and that's because they used him more. They used him more as a sixth offensive lineman, really. I mean, in a lot of games, you go back and watch that NC State game last year. All summer long, I heard it. NC State's going to destroy you, Coop. They're going to destroy you. You're terrible. You're terrible. You're terrible. They have an elite NFL defensive line. What happened? We kept them in check. That was the game plan. 6 versus 5. I mean, you know, and that's how it is. But yeah, he is quite a talent, and he'll be missed.
Yeah, he had to have close to 100 yards receiving in the first half against Georgia last year. It's just every time I looked up at the TV screen, he was catching a 20-yard pass right over those seam routes right down the middle. I mean, he just ate us alive. We made some adjustments and whatnot at halftime, and were able to sort of keep him in check in the second half. But that guy was really, really good. So I'm gonna say the same thing I've been saying. I think South Carolina can have a great year. I think they can improve on what they did last year. I think it's very possible for South Carolina to go 9-3. I think if everything goes 100% right for South Carolina, I think they could go 10-2.
Yes, sir. Go Cox and go Coach Boone.
All right.
Have a good one, Lou.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, he has a channel too, Carolina Jackpot. Make sure y'all look him up. He's a South Carolina fan. He does a lot of like lottery ticket videos, so don't think you found the wrong channel if you find it. He does a lot of a lottery scratch ticket type stuff, but he does make football videos, especially during the season. So make sure y'all sub him up, especially if you're a Carolina fan, or if you're a Clemson fan and like to hate on Carolina like I do. You can sub him up for that reason too. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou too.
This is ND fan. I just want to let you know my Big Ten pick is certainly not Michigan. Have a good day. Good morning. See you later.
All right. Well, he didn't even want to pick a team. He just wanted to call up and make sure we knew that Michigan wasn't going to win the Big Ten. So I guess he's picking the other. How many teams are in the Big Ten? Not 10. It's 14. So I guess he's picking one of the other 13 teams that aren't named Michigan. All right, it's 4:03. That's it. Show's over. 1 hour. That's it. Quick announcement here at the end. Well, forget it. We'll do that. We'll do that later. But that's it today. 4 o'clock. I'm only doing the show for an hour here during the day. 2 days a week. We'll expand to 3 days a week at some point in time. If you want more information on expanding to 3 days a week, you can click the first link in the description down below. Basically, it's a Patreon account. Is what it is. Some of you guys might know what that is. I don't know. But Patreon is a way for you to directly support the YouTube channels that you watch and like and love, or love to hate in this particular case. And anyway, through Patreon, you can contribute monthly to a YouTube channel. And if you click on that link, the details are there for what we have to do to get this show to 3 days a week, or 2 hours a day, or 5 days a week, or whatever we need to do. All the information is there. I'm trying to get away from the donations that happen in the chat stream here. You know how we do like the jersey giveaways and the t-shirt giveaways and all that, and every time you donated, blah blah blah. I'm trying to get away from using YouTube Super Chat. I don't want to bore you guys with the details of why. None of you probably would care. But they're stealing money is what they're doing, and it's not fair. It's not fair to you. If you donate $10 directly to somebody, that somebody you donate that money to, that $10 to, should get the majority of that money, not YouTube. They already take 55% or whatever it is of the ad revenue. They're not happy with that, so now YouTube wants to take 50 or 60% of every dollar that's donated through the super chat in the chat stream. So I'm getting away from that. That's just ridiculous. That's theft. I emailed them. They don't care about Uncle Lou. They say, oh, there's some sort of problem, blah blah blah. We're going to look into it anyway. This has been 3 weeks. It's still going on. So I'm trying to get away from that whole super chat thing. So that's what the Patreon link is for. It's the first link in the description down below where it says, do you want to support the Uncle Lou channel, blah blah, whatever it says. I don't know. Click on that link. The details are in there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Great phone calls today. I appreciate it. We'll do this show again Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. The next live show will be tomorrow night, Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern. And we'll have several more Big Ten videos posted during the week here on YouTube too. This is Big Ten week, so several more Big Ten videos coming. If you have an idea for a certain Big Ten video you'd like to see me do this week, you let me know. You can either leave a comment maybe on this video once it uploads to YouTube, or you can email me, crazyunclelou@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter @crazyunclelou, and if you're on Facebook, the Uncle Lou Show Live, the show you're watching now, has its own Facebook page. Guess what it's called? The Uncle Lou Show. It's easy to find. You can find that on Facebook. Anyway, there's plenty of ways to go ahead and get in touch with Uncle Lou. Not that hard to find. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the calls. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks to everybody that's watching this later after it's uploaded to YouTube. I hope you all have a great day, and I can't wait to do this again next Monday. Have a good morning, too. Yeah.